Could Napoleon have won the Battle of Waterloo? Ever since the battle, a controversy has raged over who was responsible for his defeat.
Where is Grouchy? I need those men! Where is Grouchy?
Many people, including the 1970 film Waterloo, blame one of his generals, Marshal Grouchy.
By God, sir, the cannon are calling us. March to the sound of the guns. We are a third of the army. Our duty is to...
Do not presume to teach me my duty, General Gerard. My orders from the Emperor were precise. To keep my sword in Blucher's back.
If you will not march to the sound of the guns, allow me to go.
And divide my force, France would hang me.
Could Marshal Grouchy have come to save the day? Well, we are going to use a unique war game to find out. So come with us as we conduct a live action game on the actual ground in Belgium and then link that to a tabletop miniatures game. Let's use wargaming to see if Marshal Grouchy should have marched to the sound of the guns to help Napoleon win the Battle of Waterloo. In 1815, Napoleon Bonaparte was in a desperate situation. He had returned from exile and executed a bloodless coup to reclaim control of France. But all of Europe vowed to defeat him, so he decided on a bold move. He would strike first and attack the Prussians, commanded by Marshal Blucher, and the Anglo-Dutch army, commanded by the Duke of Wellington, which were camped in Belgium, just over the French border. Napoleon organized his army into two wings of roughly equal size and a reserve. The left wing would hold off the Anglo allies, while the right wing and reserve would attack and defeat the Prussian army at the Battle of Ligny. The battered Prussian army fell back, leaving Wellington to face Napoleon alone. Realizing that victory was in his grasp, Napoleon ordered his left wing and the reserve to attack the Anglo-Dutch army, which was falling back towards Brussels. To make sure the Prussians would not come to Wellington's aid, Napoleon put his right wing, one-third of his army, under the command of the newly promoted Marshal Grouchy, and ordered him to pursue the Prussian army. But Grouchy got off to a late start and was unsure of which route the Prussians had taken. When he finally set out after them, he took a road which moved him away from Wellington, while the Prussians moved closer. On June 18, 1815, Napoleon engaged Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo. At 11 a.m., Grouchy could hear the battle 14 miles or 22 kilometers distant. Although he could hear that Napoleon was engaged, Grouchy decided to keep following the Prussian rear guard and not to march to the sound of the guns. In the end, the Prussian rear guard would easily hold off Grouchy at the Battle of Wavre. But what if Grouchy had decided to abandon his pursuit and march as quickly as possible to help Napoleon? Could he have gotten there in time? Would it have made a difference? To explore this question, we traveled to Belgium to drive the route that Grouchy might have taken to reach Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. Grouchy and his staff was at this farmhouse when they heard the sound of the guns firing. He had a conference with General Gerard, one of his corps commanders, as to what this meant and how they should respond. Matt will be given the role of Marshal Grouchy, and Sean will be General Gerard. I have given them an 1816 map of the area, which they will use to decide which route they will take to move to Waterloo.
All right, so we got to save the Emperor. We can hear the cannonading. The battle has started the way he has told us.
That's
we
right.
must go and save him.
And our orders are to continue to follow the Prussians to Wavre. But you're a very convincing guy.
We should go another way to get there faster than the Prussians. I think we can beat them.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So if we were going to let's say, follow straight to the sound of the guns, how would we want to get there?
Well, we have to figure out how to go. We've got our map.
It sounds like the gunfire is coming from here.
That's
so
what the Emperor
we could
said.
follow the Prussians to Wavre, as our plan suggests, our orders that we've received direct from Napoleon. But I think we're willing to take a risk here.
Yeah.
Maybe disappoint France, but I think it'll pay off.
If we win, I think all will be forgiven.
That's right. So instead, we'll want to chart our own path here. So I think we're gonna end up having to make a river crossing.
Yep.
So
that's the deal.
we'll be marching along here and have to cut across a river. So we're hoping, I think, that there isn't screening from the Prussians to stop
find
us.
a clear path.
Right, but then we'll have pretty open territory here, and we'll maybe have some options as we get a little closer.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great.
Fantastic.
To victory for France.
Victory. On y va, oui. Let's go.
Matt and Sean have decided to order Marshal Grouchy's 2 infantry corps and 1 cavalry corps to turn west and try to cross the Dial River at Ottigny. The cavalry have already pushed beyond the turning point, so they will continue to push the Prussian rear guard towards Wavre, while the French 3rd and 4th Corps will turn west. In the actual campaign, all of Grouchy's troops followed the route the cavalry is taking to Wavre. The new move will begin at noon. Meanwhile, the Prussian army, commanded by Field Marshal Blücher and General Gneisenau, his chief of staff, were managing the move from Wavre to Waterloo. Ben will be playing the role of Blücher, and Austin will be Gneisenau. They are at Wavre, deciding on how they will defend the city while moving most of the army to help Wellington.
Your Excellency, we're here at Wavre. We're on the Christ Bridge. It's a nice narrow bridge. We got deep rivers going along. I think if we fortify it with just 3rd Corps alone and Staffel's regiment, we should be able to hold back Grouchy. We've made it this far to outrun him. I think we can get to Waterloo and Wellington just in time to save the day.
That is good. We'll be marching out in a very long column, so they need to be able to hold out for most of the day if we are to avoid Grouchy coming up at our rear.
Absolutely. I think we can do it, though. All right, let's march.
Go!
Seeing how easy it was for the Prussians to defend the bridges over the Dial River at Wavre, Ben and Austin decide to stick with the historical plan and head off to drive the route that the Prussians took to reach the Battle of Waterloo. They will leave the Prussian 3rd Corps to defend the bridges at Wavre and hold off any French attempt to cross the river and attack the Prussians in the rear. The time is 11 a.m., and Grouchy is hearing the sounds of battle at Waterloo. The Prussian army has already started their march west to join Wellington. Prussian 4th Corps, followed by 2nd and 1st, are on the road. Ben and Austin are following this route. Meanwhile, Matt and Sean are approaching the crossroads, which will take them on their new route. When Marshal Grouchy reached this crossroads in 1815, he headed north to Wavre, but Matt and Sean have decided to turn west and see if they can reach Napoleon at Waterloo.
We are marching now towards the bridge that we saw on the map, as we've decided to detach away from our pursuit of the Prussian forces, and we're now going to try to join the battle as quickly as we can. And I think we've decided to keep our entire corps together, so we haven't sent anything to Wavre.
Yes. We didn't think that would work.
No, it wouldn't
Small
catch
force
them anyway.
chasing them, and
They could hold us at the bridge
Yeah,
there
that
and
wasn't
just
gonna
delay that force. And
so we're all in. We're all in on what will be a victorious
Oh yes,
operation.
we will save the Emperor. So I guess we're only concerned here that they may have left a delaying force at this bridge.
Yes,
so hopefully
we
it's
hope
clear.
there's a clear path.
That's right.
Marshal Grouchy's army turns west and has to march 6 miles or 9.5 kilometers through the countryside to reach the bridge over the Dial River at Ottigny. We're estimating that they will reach the bridge around 2 p.m. At that point, the Battle of Waterloo has already started to go badly for Napoleon. Meanwhile, the head of the Prussian column has reached Chapelle Saint-Lambert, more than halfway to Waterloo. The Dial River is a significant obstacle between Grouchy and Napoleon. It makes these bridges over the river solid gold real estate. Matt and Sean approach the bridge.
Marshal Grouchy, we've made it. We've got to the river. And thank God it's held by the French and not the Prussians.
Yes.
It's so good to see that cavalryman there waiting for us.
Yes, our friends in the 7th Hussars, here to bring us a message.
Indeed. From the Emperor himself.
Yes. Oh,
They've
yes.
seen the Prussians. They know where they're coming over from Wavre.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
So we, I think, have two options here. We could, looking at our map here, we could continue direct to Napoleon's army to join with the greater force and try to crush the Allied army as a unified front. Or we could continue directly north and try to cut off
the Prussians.
Yes, before they arrive. And I think we will definitely pursue the latter of those two options. I think that if we were to go to join Napoleon, we'd have to go through, according to our map, quite a ways off yonder into the woods, where we don't want to have
Oh, into the woods sounds very slow.
No, we don't want to stretch our force out going well beyond to the west counter-marching. So instead, we should go north, direct.
Intercepting the Prussians
Yes.
sounds like an excellent idea. Make
only
the most of our bold move this morning.
Yes, absolutely.
To victory for France.
For France. Vive l'Empereur!
Marshal Grouchy has decided not to march west to link up with Napoleon. Instead, he will head northwest and try to intercept the Prussians at Chapelle Saint-Lambert. It's only about 3 miles, but they have to get everyone over the narrow bridge and then travel over small, muddy country roads. These both will probably cause delay. Meanwhile, the head of the Prussian column is moving ever closer to Waterloo.
These are some really narrow roads.
They are pretty narrow. We're only able to really fit so many men on them at a time, and you know they are muddy, so like we're not moving super fast. But I mean, Grouchy's been at our heels for days at this point, and we've always managed to outrun him. So I think if he's able to get pinned down at Wavre, we can certainly make it to Waterloo in time.
Yes, even if the bridges fall, they should be able to hold them back for at least several hours, and that should get the rest of the army out of there by then.
Who was in command of the sappers? Should have blown those bridges when we crossed them. But yeah, no.
That's a very good point, actually. I'm not sure why we didn't do that.
See, like, I'm pretty sure that, you know, with the corps we're leaving behind in Wavre, even if Grouchy decides to you know, fight his way through or run around, it's going to take him a while to move down south, then across those bridges. He's going to have to traffic that whole maneuver. If he's going to try and get to us, he's going to be moving fast, and it's going to be near Waterloo, probably, where we're going to meet him. So,
at 3 p.m., the Prussian players reach the traffic circle at Chapelle Saint-Lambert. There, a Prussian cavalryman overtakes them with a message.
So we just got word.
Yes.
The French have crossed at Autunier, and they're going straight to Chapelle.
Chapelle.
Right up here.
That's where we are.
Indeed.
That's the southern flank of our march column.
Well, we can't have that.
We cannot have that. So what can we do?
Well, it looks like we're marching west along this road right here.
Yes.
So in terms of the corps we got moving up.
4th Corps is in the lead, and they're close to Waterloo. They should keep going. The one behind them, 2nd Corps, let's break them off, and we have 2 crossroads here. Let's deploy them at both crossroads to stop the French. I don't really see a good way for the French to go around. They'd have to take one of those to hit us in the flank and reach us at any appreciable time.
And you know, we're pretty close to these crossroads, just up that way, I think. We should probably go up there and scout the ground a bit.
That's a good idea. Maybe we can find a good spot.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Oh, look at this, Austin.
This is great ground. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it is so cool to be here in Belgium and just come across this piece of countryside, because we just walked up. We couldn't see anything from like 100 feet back there, and now we have this incredible view of the Belgian countryside, and this looks to me like an awesome battlefield.
It certainly will be, and I think that's one of the great perks as gamers. You know, you look at something on the map, it looks completely different, but then you come to the actual ground and you see it all, and it makes a completely new world, like new difference. It means everything. So.
I'm imagining myself being very small on a tabletop.
Yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't even, be even 6 mil? Probably less than that, yeah.
So let's look at what we got. We got woods on the left. We can anchor our left flank against those. They'll have a hard time moving through that. We have this awesome field of fire. Like, artillery can cover almost everything we can see. They've got a couple ridges they can hide behind. But I mean, we could walk for maybe another hour. We know the French are coming. We don't have that much time to find any better spot. This looks like a great spot for me.
Well, and then even if we send that other division down to that other crossroad, it's still good ground. They still have a height advantage. They still have a good field of view.
Yeah, you can still see, like over there, they have plenty of ridges to set up against and cover the ground in front of them. Why don't you check the range to those hills over there? See what they can do if they maybe stick artillery up there and put them against us.
So it looks like about 1,400 yards. So I mean, it will be extreme range, but
that's super extreme range.
But
if they go all the way
we'll
there.
have our cannons in place before they get here. So once they start moving up, we can try and shoot them off, or we can focus more on the town that's closer to us, which is about 450 yards. Which again, still extreme range for canister, but they're going to be clumped up in the move. So we'll definitely have our first shot advantage when it comes to artillery.
All right, then this is where we fight. Give the orders to deploy.
Will do.
The Prussians have decided to commit their second corps to stopping Marshal Grouchy. They head south from Chapelle Saint-Lambert to set up a defense on the ridge chosen by Ben and Austin. This will most likely be the ground which we will use to set up our tabletop wargame. As the Prussians plan their defense, the French players are driving through the Belgian countryside on their way to Chapelle Saint-Lambert. To this day, the country roads in this area are quite narrow.
But I wonder what the Prussian players are thinking, because they have a say too, I'm sure, and I'm curious what they've done. It's so great to be here in Belgium, Mark's game room. I mean, it's a great opportunity.
In the beautiful Belgian countryside,
Totally.
refighting the Waterloo campaign.
So we've been walking for a while now, and we're on this pretty small path. We actually had to ditch the vehicle because it's a little dodgy.
As you can see, single lane road, and in some places single lane with no place to get off. So it's a little exciting if somebody's coming the other way.
But we are getting very close here. We're about half a mile to Saint-Chapelle, so we should be catching up to the Prussians pretty soon.
Yes, indeed.
But
yes,
I do
indeed.
say, I think I actually do see them now.
Oh,
so maybe some of them have caught up with us.
No, I see some black uniforms on the horizon.
So maybe we're gonna have to fight a little sooner than we thought.
Oh, maybe a little sooner.
The Prussian and French players will now take it to the tabletop and fight it out with a wargame to see if Grouchy can break through the Prussian defense and prevent most of the Prussian army from reaching Waterloo. Well, we've set up our miniatures wargame to find out. Tune in on December 8th to find out when we fight our battle in Mark's game room and answer our question, what could have happened if Marshal Grouchy had marched to the sound of the guns?